It's Spaghetti, and today we're going to learn about the gyroscope or the accelerometer inside your phone and how to use it within Unity. So, continuing off of last week's video, we went through the network manager and the player prefab, setting up all that stuff for the backend. And as you remember, we got the host and join buttons. I just set these up last time to make it easier for me to host and join since I'm making a multiplayer game in the background. But I might as well show how I use the accelerometer and the gyrometer. So to start off, you're going to need a input map. So what I've done here is just create a test one. So what you do is you will create a new input action. Go all the way at the bottom here, input actions, and just call this test controls, or what do you want to call it? Test controls. And then what you want to add to this is a action map. And I'll call this player actions. Player actually. And then on this action map, we can add a value, and the value type must be vector3, as the accelerometer records x, y, and z. What you need is you just name this action to say, because that's any type of movement that's going to be from the input. Then the binding will be sensor accelerometer acceleration. After you've done your accelerometer input or your binding, you just want to add another binding or the actual keyboard input. So I'm just going to quickly speed this, but we would just type in A for keyboard, down is S, keyboard, left is A, keyboard, right is D, keyboard, forward is, you can just leave it off for now. And then you want to save asset, and then I've already done this, but you want to generate your C# class, and then you hit apply, and then you will generate your test controls over here. Then within your scripts, so I'm just going to go to test scripts. You want to create a script here called, let's just call it a input reader test. Right, and then within the script, you just wait for it to load, and I'll be right back. You go to file name, you create the file name, and this will show in the editor, in your projects, in your assets. You can just right click, and then you should be able to find this by using the file or the file name. So this will be test input, whatever you want to call it. And then you want to go comma menu name. So this will be in the actual menu when you use create. If you right click into the project assets, and then you want to name it so input / input reader test. Okay. And then I just want to inherit from script objects. Okay, and then last thing I want to do is player actions. Control, static test controls, and then boom, implement interface. So I've only got the one which is just movement for now. I can add a jump, I add a fire event, so let's do that quickly. So test controls, add an event, which will just be a button, it'll be the jump button. Space. Make the jump space. Save that. Just want to make a jump button, so I just save that quickly, and then I'll have it here, and I'll just go boom. Interface on jump. So now, if you want to just keep this input reader, then you just add events to this, or you can even call a method from a different class. I prefer using events, so I would use public action and then table jump. Right, there we go. There's action for jump, and then public event action. So it'll be a vector3 for the movement. If I can type movement properly, vector3, and this will be on move. Move, okay. Okay, so on jump, we go to jump. Layer. So jump. Let's see something from here. How much of events? Remove events. Actually, we just use, what is this? So this will be context value. Oh, no. Context of one. Okay. the movement, so we'll just pass in the. But then since I'm using a script object, it won't register awake, so I have to use onEnable. So enable, and I just want to set the controls to enabled. So private test controls, right? Test controls. And I just want to check if controls is done. If test controls is equal to no. And I just want to set the test controls to controls. Test controls equal new test controls. Start. Set callback. So this is just saying the callback events. So this, and then I want to enable that. So test controls enable. This will enable us to register inputs on the device, and then when disable, you can just add test controls that disable. If you want, you can add public functions. Just wait. Enable input. In case you don't want your players to move directly on start or register input on start, or on enable, you can just say controls. Okay, you could do the same for disable input. If I can spell it. Okay, awesome. And then I got the on jump and the on movement event. So the on movement, I'm just going to fire the event, so new event, invoke, making sure we have listeners, and then we're going to get the context, the value, type. Okay, so that's how we set up the movement inputs. And just to make sure that this is correct, we go debug, log, right, let me just set this over variable. Okay. So then for the movement, we got a player test script, player test movement script. So let's be player. We want to add the player test movement. So since we're using a network object, I have to use network behavior. And then I want to check for the events. And I will need reference to the input test input. So reference test, okay. Okay, and then settings, we want some wave speed settings. Settings. Okay, so that's field again. Exposing this to the editor, but I'll just call this horizontal speed because we'll be moving in the X. Okay, and then I just want to make sure there's a private movement, private vector free, previous movement, sorry. Just to keep track if we have moved, and then so with the network objects, you're going to use on network spawn and on network despawn as start and on destroy, on enable and on disable. So it's public network right spawn. Okay, and then I just want to check if I'm the owner. If not the owner return, because I only want the owner to have control over the movement of this object, not the server. So I'm just going to say input reader dot. Let's see on input reader, no, input reader dot movement plus equals. So you're gonna have that will be in movement. Right, then we just need the input reader dot jump event. So no jump. Okay, I just want to generate that. And what you can do just to save time is just copy and paste this, and then on network despawn, despawn, and then you just minus equals, so you unsubscribe to the method and in the events, and then you just want to change this, so this would be the instrument. Well, press space, or whatever you want to call it, and this would be previous. Oh, okay, so then when the player has moved using the accelerometer, you just want to set the previous movement equal to move input, and then for the jump, you just want to check if the player is grounded. So if ground, let's just say it's grounded. So grounded, you just want to check if there's a, let me just make this in capitals, if the object is touching the ground or the player is touching the ground. So it's grounded, it'll just be a terminal of physics. We're just going to shoot up from this position of it. So wherever the object is, then you want to set it down, so that's vector 3 up, negative. So as you can see, vector 3 up is 1, so it will just be -1. We need y. Since y is the vertical, and then we want to check the distance, so let's just say our ground check distance is 0.5. Okay, so it's grounded. Then we just add a force to the player, so you get the player's rigid body action as well. So field, rigid body, and then we just want to add another setting here. Let's just copy and paste this and just say jump force. Jump force will probably be like 20. Okay, and then to handle the jump, we say b dot add force. So jump force. Got impulse. Let's just see what that is. Then force impulse the rigid body using its mass. So that's what we want for the jump. Okay, and then what is next is handling the actual movement. So the movement should be handled on fixed update. I feel like because it has to do with the velocity of the player. So I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do anything if it's not the owner. Okay, which is going to equal to forward. Okay, I don't want to move forward yet. I just want to move right forward. Right. Times the previous movement times the total speed. You don't have to put these brackets in, but I just like to keep it for now. So what is the error here? Whatever the type of vector 3, you can understand. So I just need the x of the previous movement, because I'm only getting x and y, and then so that's all you need to set up. And then what you need to do for velocity, velocity equal to movement. Okay, so I think that should be good. Just say that, put this onto our player. And what do we call this? Player test movement. Okay, so we're going to send out a rigid body section into this player. So we have the player, visual, rigid body, there. Okay, for input, I'm just going to add a new folder here. Yeah, actually, let me add it here. So create input, read a test, test input. You got your test input, and then on your player, you can just take this. Okay, now if I want to spawn this certain player, you can go to my network manager, go click here, preverbs player, and then I just want to see what happens when I spawn him, and then I will plug my phone, and then I'll show you that moving through the gyrometer. So let's just check here. So since I'm doing multiplayer, I can just host, and okay, check if the thing moves right, if it moves left. So that is good, it's moving right, it's moving left with the A and D key. You can check the input here at the bottom. And then I just want to freeze the the player rotation in the, I think it is the X. What is this rotation? The X rotation. Okay. The freeze rotation in here. Right, freeze actually all rotation for now. Yes, now I'm going to plug in my phone. So I have an iPhone and I'm using a Windows device. So I need to load up iTunes and then plug in my device. And then once I plug in my device, just next to this, okay, so now hopefully if I go to Unity Remote 5, it should be able to pick up my phone. Let's just click here. So it does pick up my phone, and I've set it up with some settings here. If I go to bold settings, play settings, that's windowed 82. Then on the iOS, I've set it to landscape right, full screen, etc. So as you can see now, if I start the game, so I just gave the player a bit more horizontal speed. I freeze this rotation, and if I start the game now, if I start as a host, the player slides to the right, then I've slide my phone to the right, slides to the left. And I'm not using my keys at all. I'm using my phone, sliding it left and then sliding it right. So that's how you use the phone to make the player move. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.